Hey everybody, thank you for joining us today in episode 99 of the Pool Chasers podcast. As always, our mission is to help educate and inspire in the form of a podcast. Alright, so today's episode is all about the Pentair IntelliCenter. We first saw this product at a trade show where we got a thorough walkthrough of it. We could tell that Pentair took their time to deliver a quality product. We were very excited to see this come to market because of its adaptability and over-the-air updates. I know many of us have gone on a service call to do an update, and I for one am very happy that they can do these over the air now instead of me being out in the heat forever. One of our favorite features is that with the new app, you can set permissions for users. This is perfect for those Airbnb houses. They even came out with an upgrade kit, which is great for all those customers that have an EasyTouch or IntelliTouch that want to upgrade. So, without further ado, please enjoy this episode with Kevan Cooper of Pentair. Welcome to your go-to podcast for the pool and spa industry. My name is Tyler Rasmussen.
And my name is Greg Viafania. And this is the Pool Chasers Podcast.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate your time. Can you introduce yourself and your role at Pentair with us and the listeners?
Yeah, my name is Kevan Cooper, and I'm the group product leader for Pentair's IoT and automation product portfolio, where I'm responsible for scoping, defining, and launching Pentair IoT and automation products and services.
Very good. And how exactly did you get into the pool industry and then eventually on with Pentair?
That's interesting. So I started out, I guess, in connected products about 15 years ago in the connected home space for home entertainment. Then evolved after a number of years into the smart home space. And then from there, I went to wireless security, which has sort of combined or converged with smart home. And then I landed with Pentair. I knew I could leverage my background and experiences from the smart home space into the connected pool space. And so here I am at Pentair.
Very good. Has the pool industry been treating you well?
So far, so good. It was a bit daunting at first to join an entirely new industry, but it's been really, really fun to learn this new industry and to see the tremendous opportunity connectivity has, IoT has, and then the things that we can do with mobile apps in a single unified user experience. And I'll speak to that later on.
Very good. And today we're going to be talking about the IntelliCenter. For those that may not know, can you explain what that is exactly?
So IntelliCenter is our top-of-the-line flagship IoT product. It is a control system for pool and spa. It uses the latest innovation from Pentair. It allows the end user to easily and intuitively manage features for their pool or spa from anywhere in the world from our single unified app. In terms of some of the key features, it provides real-time proactive email alerts. It's got a real easy-to-use user interface, LCD capacitive touchscreen, has an optional indoor control panel, and again, it's got a mobile app interface for iOS and Android. And really what it does for us, it takes us to what we call our effortless pool experience.
Very good. Does this need its own application for the phone or smart device?
Yes, so it has its own application. It's an IntelliCenter app, and it provides clear and valuable information to the end user.
And it's a separate app from ScreenLogic, correct?
Correct. And in terms of some of the differences between the IntelliCenter app and ScreenLogic, one major feature is that you can do things like circuit group control. So that allows you to control multiple devices, let's say light, heater, pump, and attach them to one command. So that with one command, you could turn on, off, or ignore a schedule for multiple devices. So that's been a really big feature set in terms of improvement from the ScreenLogic user experience.
Yeah, that's a really cool feature.
Yeah.
Nice. And talking about screen logic, how is the IntelliCenter different from the EasyTouch?
Just in general, if you were to physically look at the devices, the first thing you'd notice would be the panel display. IntelliCenter has a really nice, intuitive, capacitive touchscreen display, whereas the EasyTouch system has a character display, and it's almost, I would equate it to going from DOS to Windows. And that to me is sort of the biggest sort of physical difference. In terms of functional difference, from an installation perspective, that capacitive touchscreen allows the installer to install and set up and configure the system a lot easier than using the old legacy character display, as well as the end user. The end user can now go to this really nice interactive touchscreen to control, configure, and manage versus going to the old sort of legacy character display of the EasyTouch system.
Right. And has it been difficult building a touch screen for the outdoor elements? Because we know that there's been other touchscreen items out there that were a little bit difficult to use in the field, but it seems like you guys took your time and made this specifically for being out in the elements.
We've got really detailed and comprehensive regression testing. I mean, we probably have at least 50 test conditions for that particular screen. And that's the same process throughout, not just the screen, but for a lot of the functionality, all of the functionality. I mean, we go through some pretty rigorous regression testing, and our requirements and standards are very high. And that has been good and bad. Good in that, we want to be so perfect. Sometimes that delays our ability to get to market. But again, we're about quality.
Right.
Another big difference is the IntelliCenter system allows for over-the-air software updates. So we're constantly improving and hardening the system, providing new features, functionality, addressing any major and minor bugs. And we can now do all of this remotely via over-the-air updates versus having the EasyTouch system. It required a service call and someone to physically actually come out and connect the PC to the system to do any sort of software update and maintenance. So that's another major differentiator between IntelliCenter and EasyTouch.
Yeah, that's a big upgrade. Coming from someone who did those out in the field, I mean, those take a good hour or 2 hours to get those kind of updates sometimes, as far as connecting to the customer's Wi-Fi and then figuring out how to upgrade everything. So there's a lot that's going to change. I mean, I doubt that the majority of people, would upgrade those every time, because it's just a lot of time taken up. So that's really good that you guys can now fix something and quickly upgrade everybody's systems.
And it's a major selling point. And the way that we currently have the update plan, I have a scheduled cadence of every 6 months to have a major feature upgrade. And then every quarter, we're doing bug fixes as well as minor app enhancements. So there's always improvements going on every quarter through over-the-air updates for the IntelliCenter systems.
When there's an automatic update on an IntelliCenter, is there anything that people should know when that's happening? Does it affect anything? It's, say we're working on a pool or cleaning a pool and an update was actually happening. Is there any kind of interference?
In order for the update to be successful, the system has to be just up, running, and it has to be, more importantly, connected to the internet. But it will not interrupt any normal function of the system. Okay.
And can you convert an EasyTouch to an IntelliCenter?
So we just recently introduced IntelliCenter Upgrade Kits back in February. And basically what these kits do is they allow you to retrofit an EasyTouch system and basically make it IntelliCenter capable. What this does is it allows you to retrofit your existing system without making the investment into a full IntelliCenter kit or system, that is.
So would you need to know how many relays were being used and things like that to order the correct one?
Well, you just need to know what's currently supported with the EasyTouch system if you want to do a like-for-like sort of replacement in terms of devices supported. Now, you can add on with these modular panels, if you will.
And that means you would probably be able to get rid of the screen logic if they have the screen logic along with it.
Absolutely. So this would replace the screen logic with IntelliCenter app.
Oh, nice.
So are you saying you can go from like an EasyTouch 4 to an 8 if you buy the right replacement?
Yes.
Would that come with extra relays or something?
You could purchase extra relays to make that happen.
But it is possible to take a
it is
box
possible.
and convert it to an 8? Oh, that's cool.
That's really cool. I'm curious for anybody listening that wants to do this almost right away. What would you ask for when going into the supply house distribution? What would you ask them behind the counter to get one of these upgrades?
It's just called IntelliCenter Upgrade Kit.
Okay, perfect.
Nice. And from an industry perspective, I mean, we talked a little bit of the features for the end user, but from a pool professional perspective, what are some of the key benefits and key features offered?
Again, I go back to the really nice touchscreen, over-the-air updates, and then from a service provider perspective, because this is true IoT, we're able to collect a lot more data than we can from an EasyTouch system. So, for example, we're able to collect data around pool owner name, address, phone number. We can determine from, analytics, the equipment on the pad, installation information, such as if the installation was successful, if it failed, if it was interrupted. We can look at data from the app and determine, okay, does the app performing optimally? What's the load time on the app? What's the session duration? So that gives us an indication of usability. Typically, if someone's in the app for a long time, that could, it can imply one or two things. One is they really like the app, or two, they may be having some sort of problem. We can also determine things like the actual screen's access. So we can see what features and functionalities are actually being used. So from a service provider and dealer perspective, we can collect and gather a lot more data and have a lot more information about customer usability.
Yeah, that's a cool feature. It's much different than the EasyTouch. Can you determining which equipment is on there? Wasn't there something I heard about where it can offer possible upgrade options?
So one of the things that we are currently developing is a way that we could send push notifications to the app. And so by us being able to now gather this data on what's on the pad, we can go in and segment to say, hey, we know, these users do not have, the new bright light.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then we could essentially, and this is under development, we could send a promo via the app, a push notification or SMS, a campaign that says, hey, we are offering micro bright lights at, a deep discount.
Mm.
And this can all be handled through the app.
So let's say there's a single speed pump on the system. Could then you send out some type of program that says, hey, look at the IntelliFlow?
So we're able to get that data now, but in terms of actually being able to push that notification out, that's under development. But we expect to have that functionality by the end of the year. Because that, as I came on board to Pentair, that was kind of one of the first things I saw in terms of opportunity around data and analytics, because I was able to do that in the smart home space.
Yep.
But you can also do things like you can look, for example, and let's say they have, I don't know, lights or a pump, and they may not be using it, right? And it could be a situation where they may not know how to use it. So you could discern to say, hey, you know what? These users have these products. They're not using them. Let's push them some more information about how to use these products, right? So that there's a lot you can do when you have a deeper, more intimate relationship with the customer, and that's what IntelliCenter and advanced IoT analytics gives us.
Right. Would the service professional have the option to turn those on or off? Or, I mean, when you're saying go to the app, is that going to go directly to the homeowner?
Oh, you mean in terms of the notifications?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are custom notifications that would have to be triggered and initiated and crafted by either the dealer or service provider.
So
yeah,
you'd be giving us the option to do that.
Right.
Oh, that's
right.
really cool. That's awesome.
That tool allows the service provider to have a aggregate view across their entire base of connected customers.
Right. So then the equipment was installed and let's the builder put in everything correctly, then you would be able to see basically what equipment is on that pad.
Correct.
That's pretty awesome.
And and again, you could also see what's actually being used. I mean, in terms of, let's say they have a pump, but they don't have any schedules, right? You can say, hey, you're missing out on this wonderful feature.
Mm-hmm.
Here's how you use it.
Right. Yeah, that's a really cool function. We're proud to announce Lyon Financial as a sponsor. Since 1979, they have helped make backyard dreams come true nationwide. Lyon Financial is a specialist in pool financing solutions, offering low rates, long terms, and unmatched customer service. Lyon Financial's experience is unique to pools, not just any type of loan. They are a partner with both the homeowner and the pool builder until the project is completed, ensuring pool professionals are paid on time and in full. It is absolutely free for pool contractors to partner with Lyon Financial to grow their business. Lyon Financial is committed to providing an excellent customer service experience. Homeowners will never be charged a consulting fee or prepayment penalties, and pool builders will never be charged a swipe fee for accessing their own hard-earned money. When it comes to something as important as a pool and all the memories that come with it, work with true professionals who have your best interest in mind. With more than 41 years of experience in specializing in pool financing solutions, why trust anyone but the experts? For more information, contact Lyon at 877-754-5966. Go to lyonfinancial.net/poolchasers or click the link below. Talked about the IntelliCenter app itself a little bit, but there's also a remote control option that they could get?
There is a poolside remote that they could use in addition to the mobile app. Obviously that's locally only.
But if somebody had like Airbnb or something, maybe that remote poolside would be a nice option. That way you wouldn't have to tell somebody to download an app or even go buy the equipment. But if they can easily access a remote that way, that could be a good benefit, right?
That would be the ideal use case for that. Yep.
Nice.
Thank you for that. If let's say you're not doing the upgrade, you're installing a brand new one, what are some best practices that pool professionals should take?
In terms of the installation process?
Right. Is there anything that's special as far as installing this compared to an EasyTouch or something else? Is there a different type of process?
I go back to the touchscreen. It is so intuitive that it simplifies the installation process a lot more than EasyTouch. So, for example, it's wizard based. So instead of you having to try to figure out and guess what the next step is, the wizard guides you through the installation process.
So you don't have to click through a million buttons anymore.
Oh, nice. So for people that don't know what that is, what does that mean exactly? What is a wizard?
So basically it's a step-by-step sort of walk through through the installation setup process. So it kind of takes you from point A to point Z. And so you're not having to kind of look at, and actually it minimizes the need for the installer to actually even refer to a manual. It is so intuitive. So what it does is it probes you with questions and says, what do you want to do next? And then it directs you versus giving you sort of this screen with all of these functions that you can manually configure. It guides you.
Nice. And that's all done on the actual touchscreen of the IntelliCenter?
Yes. Yep.
Nice. I'm curious about the Amazon Alexa. How easy is that for people to set up? I'm assuming, is that something more that the homeowner would do, or is that something a technician could do or a pool service company?
The good thing about this is that the Alexa skill is built into the system. So it's not like an add-on. So it's already built in.
Okay. So you're pretty much, you have the Amazon Alexa app on your phone. It's on the Pentair, and you're pretty much pairing them. You guys have already put together all the skills in terms of like the actual communication demands, like tell Pentair to turn on my heater to 104 degrees or whatever. It's already in there. The commands on how to say it are already in there.
Correct.
Very cool.
Yeah, we love that feature for sure. It's definitely one that's not utilized a whole lot, but I mean, as far as our customers, but I think it's really awesome to tell your pool what to do.
Well, that's the best way to flex in the backyard. Homeowner wants to do it from their watch or the Alexa. That's a very, very cool thing to have.
Yeah, so let's talk about pairing kind of the IntelliCenter to the wireless router. What's that process look like?
So there's also a wizard process for connectivity and pairing through the touchscreen. It walks you through how to configure and pair to first connect to your local network via SSID, and it walks you through that entire process. And then it walks you through a testing process in terms of signal strength. And again, that's all sort of mapped out, flowed through the on-screen guide.
So it can test signal strength from the board?
Correct.
Oh, that's cool. That's much different. What information would we need to know to input into there from the homeowner?
Primarily the SSID.
And password? Or
SSID, and then the login, the network password. Yes, the credentials.
Okay. And is that wizard process just part of the original installation, or is it a separate process?
It's actually a separate process. So once you go through the system setup, the basic system setup, then there is a sort of a communications or connectivity setup process that happens after the system setup.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you. And what do you think is the best way to explain the IntelliCenter to a homeowner? Because it's always a little bit tricky with all the new products out there when you're in the backyard and you're kind of sizing everything up. And when you figure out that an IntelliCenter might be the best option for them, what do you think the best sort of conversation looks like in explaining it to them?
I'd say if you want the best pool automation system available in an industry today, and a system that allows you to manage, intuitively manage your features via app, and a system that can grow as your needs grow. And then finally, a system that stays current with the latest technologies, with over-the-air upgrades, then you need IntelliCenter.
Yeah, I like that, especially the part about as you're adding additional things to your pool backyard, that it's going to have the, sort of the strength and the options to do so. I like that. And just being a touchscreen, I think that for some reason, the touchscreen looks so much more like something you would see inside their house. So if you had a brochure or you were showing it to them on an iPad or something, I think they can relate to something that looks like the IntelliCenter better than, something that might look a little bit more technical.
Right. And it goes back to, you look at what the display looks like on the EasyTouch. It looks pretty technical, right? I wouldn't, the average sort of pool owner would look at that character display and say, hey, man, this looks like it's some heavy duty technical work. But then you look at the LCD display with really nice consumer-friendly icons, it changes how you view the product.
Right. And the cool thing is that you don't have to label the IntelliCenter anymore, right? And the sticker pack that comes with the EasyTouch, you don't have to do that with the IntelliCenter since it's all digital and built in inside the actual screen.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a really cool feature because those little stickers they can be tricky sometimes. Sometimes they don't get labeled correctly.
Yeah, I'm going to say they always forget to label them. So then you're stuck figuring out yourself.
Right. But it is still your responsibility, correct? And when you're going through the wizard and it's prompting you through the different things that you are labeling, all the features
correctly. You have to name them appropriately or something that you are familiar with. Yes.
Okay. And what are some of the most, commonly asked questions by, the industry professionals?
That's a good question. I think the biggest one is what we've already addressed, and that is what is the difference between IntelliCenter and our existing offering, EasyTouch and IntelliTouch. And I think I've been clear about the differentiators, the over-the-air update, the LCD, capacitive touchscreen, and then the ability to get more data from the back-end cloud and to have a more intimate relationship with the customer in terms of, in the future, being able to send out custom push notifications based on specific segments, like, do I have an IF3 or not? Do I have microbright? And if I have microbright, am I using it?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's really, really important information. Another piece on the operational side is really getting information around the installation experience. So with IntelliCenter, through the app and through the system itself, we're able to determine, at least with a reasonable degree of accuracy, the duration of an installation. And we can also determine through the wizard process if an installation is incomplete or if an installation fails, so that it allows us to be more proactive. And there may be indications that there are fundamental improvements that we need to make in our process that we wouldn't otherwise have information on.
Interesting.
Is it easier for the call center to communicate with the IntelliCenter if anybody needs help with anything?
So because of the connectivity, now the call center can be proactive. So one thing we can look at is connectivity. And if a system has lost connectivity, the call center can get a notification that says, hey, this customer's out of, doesn't have connectivity. Let's make a proactive call. Is there an outage? Is the system down? So there are proactive, we can get proactive information that would give us diagnostics or help us in the diagnostic process so that we could be proactive versus someone calling us saying, hey, my network's down or my system's not connected.
Does that mean you could call in if you're installing it and they can kind of walk you through some of the process a little bit?
That as well. So we do provide that support as well.
And I'm sure does that make it a little easier then for the call center to see which steps maybe you're at?
When that's provided, if they're at that point, if they're not connected, then we don't really have that information. So if they're having trouble getting connected, then
I see.
The call center really they don't have that connectivity to do the diagnosis.
But if you connected it to the internet and then you are having trouble with, let's say, the wizard or something, or having trouble with the installation parts, could they see kind of where you're at?
They couldn't necessarily see where you are, but they could. What they could do is the alerts that the end user would get on. So that's another thing that IntelliCenter provides is proactive alerts on issues. And the call center or our support team could get the same alerts.
That's crazy. It's almost like an alarm company if something's not working correctly or not responding, where you set off an alarm, call you or whatever. That's really cool.
And again, it goes back to our a value prop or our message around creating an effortless pool experience. So we're constantly proactively managing and monitoring your pool so you don't have to worry about it. And if there is an issue, we'll notify you. And that is really ultimately where we want to drive our IoT user experience, is around this whole concept of an effortless pool.
Right. Are there any other newer features?
We're adding connected heater. We're adding IntelliValve. We're looking at support for more than 2 bodies of water. I think that pretty much covers the major anchor features. Is that we wanted to get a connected heater in the device ecosystem. We already have a pump, but we'll be supporting the Master Temp 45 heater by mid-August.
Cool.
And again, that's another big differentiator, is that we can provide you with these new features and functionality without anyone showing up, right? All of this is pushed through over-the-air updates.
Very cool.
Yeah. And where can people get trained on the IntelliCenter?
In terms of our dealers and builders, our regional sales teams are offering training all the time. So that's sort of one avenue. And then we have automation experts or specialists for each region, and they're also doing training as well. So if you don't know who your automation specialist is for your given region, contact territory rep or contact, actually you can contact Pentair support.
And they'll put you in touch with the right person.
They'll put you in touch with the right person. Yeah.
Very
Cool.
good. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else that you want to touch base on the IntelliCenter?
Again, it is our flagship IoT product, expandable, and it stays up to date without any additional investment. You think about what I just talked about in terms of new features and functionality that's on the roadmap, you're getting that free, right? So once you buy the unit, like I said, we're constantly looking for ways to improve the experience. And we're doing that through software. And we push those software updates, typically my schedule now is probably once every 6 months to have new major anchor feature functionality. And for the end user, you're basically getting a system that is constantly upgrading at no extra cost.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a very strong value statement and reason to buy.
Yeah, definitely. We really, like the product. We've spent time at the trade shows, getting walked through them and things like that, and really enjoy that you spent time, putting it out there. Like you said, it can be a kind of double-edged sword, but when you guys do release something, I think it's definitely quality, and we appreciate that from a service industry standpoint, because we want something that we can back and support in the field that we know is going to last for the customer. So we really appreciate that.
Good. You're welcome.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. We appreciate your time. I think it was a great interview. So
thanks for having me. And if you have any other questions or are looking for more information, we've got a lot available on the Pentair.com site.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You.
Hey, Pool Chasers. Thanks for checking out this episode. Did you know that each episode has its own page on our website? This is where you can find more information about the guest and episode topic, as well as all the resources that we discuss throughout the show. To get to the webpage, click the link below. Also below, you will find links to the sponsors of the show, as well as links to follow us on our social media channels. On our channels, you will find some of our favorite clips and bonus material. Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Our tag is Pool Chasers. We also have a Facebook group for the Pool Chasers community. Here you will find like-minded professionals all looking to make each other better. One last thing. If the episode has brought you value, please check out our Patreon page to support us. And if you could please rate and review the podcast, we would love to hear what your favorite topics are. Thank you for your time and your ear.
See you out there, Pool Chasers.